Hi, this is Judy Sarden, and I am going to talk to you about how I use All About Spelling to teach my children spelling. And just to give you a little background, my daughter is one who, I have a son who can memorize everything, and I have a daughter who is probably the exact opposite of that. So teaching spelling has been really, really challenging. If she's writing, she will spell words using only consonants and not using any vowels at all. And I say she does. She doesn't do this anymore because we've been working on it. Let me tell you what, I'm not going to say I tried several spelling programs. I tried apps. Let me tell you what, neither of my children really retains anything that they learn electronically. I've learned that after paying a lot of money for several different online programs. And so we don't really do like online computer programs. If it's a live class online, that's one thing, but anything app based on the iPad or, electronic, and I'm thinking of reading eggs because we used reading eggs to try to help them read. Didn't work. They loved the activities. They were great. But they really didn't retain much of anything. So I loved reading eggs. They loved it, but I just didn't find that their retention was very high with that. So different kids are different. So with your own kids, you just have to test it out and just see. So like they didn't remember any of the spelling rules or any of the reading rules that they learned off of reading eggs, which is disappointing because we had a subscription for a couple of years. But it wasn't reading eggs' fault. It's my kids because it's a great program. So anyway, I digress. But anyway, so I finally stumbled upon All About reading for teaching kids to read. But at that point, my kids, they could read. My son could spell. But my daughter, her spelling was absolutely atrocious. And honestly, she gets. I think she inherits it. My own spelling is horrible as well. So it always has been. I used to get F's in spelling when I was in school. So, but hey, guess what? I went on to practice law for 20 years, so who cares? But I want my daughter to be able to at least spell at a basic level so she doesn't look, totally ignorant when she's out in the world. So to that end, I saw All About Reading and I said, well, maybe the spelling program is just as good. So my first impressions of it was, oh my gosh, that's expensive, because they have several levels, and if you get all the materials for each level, it's going to run you about $100. And for one subject, that's kind of steep. But if you're talking about a 5 or 6 level spelling program, that's a lot of money just for spelling. But all the other methods I used didn't work, so I was at a point where I'll try anything. So actually, I got it secondhand at a homeschool materials reseller. So it's like people sell their used their gently used homeschool materials to this place here in town, and you go there and buy it for a portion of the cost that you buy it new. So that's actually how I got my hands on level 1 and level 2, and I think level 3 as well. But right now what I've got for you is level 1, just to show you. Now, a couple of things that kind of put me off of it. It was expensive. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. It's fall and I think I've got something. Something's environmental. But anyway, it was expensive. And secondly, it was, there were a lot of moving parts. And one thing I knew about myself is I don't do well with a program that has a lot of moving parts. So I'm a kind of an open and closed kind of girl, and I don't want to have to be pulling out a bunch of stuff in order to get a lesson done. However, I know that my daughter learns better if she can touch, see, feel. So she has to engage all the senses. And whereas again, my son can memorize spelling rules and things like that, my daughter needs a little bit extra to help her really grasp what she's learning. So I jumped in, since it wasn't paying full price for it anyway. I was like, well, I've spent so much money anyway on a bunch of little cheap stuff. I've probably spent far more than what this program is going to cost me, especially buying it secondhand. So I went ahead and got it. So here's why I love it. Gosh, sorry guys. Okay, first off, the lessons are intended to be 20 minutes or less. And, you know, that's a godsend for anyone, whether you have one child or multiple children. You don't want to be sitting down doing any lesson for more than 20 minutes because you're going to lose the kids' focus anyway. So I like that the lessons are short. I also like the fact that the actual teaching portion of the lesson is just a fraction of that 20 minutes. And so they give you, let's see, I think these cards are, I don't really use the cards anymore, so I've got all these cards here. So they give you these cards. These are the, actually let me back up. Okay, so let's look at the book. All about spelling. You have the book. You have cards. You have green cards. You have yellow cards. You have red cards. And you have blue cards. I told you you have a lot of moving parts. Then you have a whiteboard. You need a dedicated whiteboard where you keep your letter tiles that you move around. It has letters, it has blends, it has, and then there are some other little token things that you use, which the children have lost. So we just use pennies. Now, here's why this adds up, okay? So you buy the book. That's separate. All these letter tiles, the little package that comes with the letter tiles, those are a cost. And when they talk about the letter tiles, they just talk about this little part here. If you wanted to actually adhere to your whiteboard, you have to then purchase the magnets separately. And I can't remember if the cards themselves came with just the letter tiles, not the magnet, or if they were separate as well. So, you know, I'm going to be honest, I was really annoyed that I had to buy all these little parts to equal the whole, but whatever. So that's just telling you that. So anyway, so let's talk about here. Here's chapter 18, and they're talking about the floss rule. Okay? So we've got, at the beginning of each chapter, you have a review section, and you can pull up the actual pages on the All About Spelling website. So you can't see them very well in this video, but you can go onto the All About Spelling website and pull up actual pictures of the pages. So I'm just kind of walking you through it. Okay, so you have a review at the beginning of every chapter. You have a review, and it tells you, teacher, exactly what to say. It literally is a script. So you don't have to come up with anything on your own. It's a script. So then they have new teaching, and it literally tells you what to say. It says, in quotes, this is what you say, and then it says, actually, it tells you to then point to the letter tile, to the CK letter tile. And so every single step, they tell you exactly what to do and exactly what to say. And so you don't get any more open and close than this, people. So then it tells you exactly what to do. And so with the review part, let me go over that. With the review part, it tells you to go over the phonogram cards, which would be the yellow cards. So you'll go over the phonogram cards. No, I don't know which one of these is which. And then you go over, these are the phonogram cards. They tell you exactly what those cards are, and it tells you what it sounds like. So this one says, dictate the sound E and double E. And then it tells you that what your student should write for that sound. So I think those are the phonogram cards. And then those are the sound cards. So you basically have a little stack of cards that you've already covered. So at the very beginning of every lesson, you repeat the stuff you've already gone over. So it's kind of like a spiral method, but it's really good for kids who have difficulty memorizing because you're continuously reviewing all the sounds that you've gone over throughout the entire book. And so that was just so necessary for my daughter, and it's really helped her tremendously. Her spelling is night and day. It's still not perfect. We're on to book 3 now, but oh my gosh, it's like before she would have been given an F minus, and now I would give her a solid B. So I'm pretty confident we can work our way up to an A as we plod through, you know, the next 2 books. So anyway, then you have key cards, which are, these are the rules. These are the spelling rules that they learn. So for this floss lesson, there'll be, there's a section here that tells you exactly what the floss rule is, and that's exactly what these blue cards tell you. The blue cards basically tell you what the actual spelling rule is. And then the last card are the word cards. And so the word cards will be each week as you're going through the lesson, you'll pull out one of these color cards for that particular lesson. And then they'll have words associated with that lesson. So that's what you'll pull out. And so they're just telling you, as part of your review, they're telling you to go back through your little stack of things that you've already covered and go back over it with your kid. Okay. And then it goes through new teaching, where you teach the kid something new. See here, it tells teach key card S. And so it tells you exactly what to do. And then here's kind of the rule here. And then here's what I love. And here's the thing. So you've just spent first off, you spent time reviewing where you're interacting with the child. So they are engaging. So you're not just talking at them, you're engaging with them the entire time that you're doing a review. And then your teaching portion is short. Then once you do your teaching portion, what do? You spell with tiles. So now the kid is going to go onto the whiteboard, and you're going to call words out, and they're going to use their little finger to spell the words for you. Then after you spell with tiles, then they're going to spell on paper. And what I like about this is, you know, kids need to, no, it's not just kids, it's anybody. You need to engage the multi-senses in order to really understand something, and really in order to solidify it in your brain. And so by having the kids now, we've talked about it, we've gone through the cards, we've moved the tiles around. Now we are going to actually write it. If you want to reinforce it, you can do more words. And then finally, dictation, where you will call out the phrases and they will write it down and spell it out. And so the dictation will incorporate, you know, that week's lesson. It also will incorporate some of the stuff that they've done before. So, and then that's the end of the lesson. Now it seems like that takes a really long time, but it really doesn't. And for my child, this is what she needed. And so even if it took 30 minutes, we don't do it every day. We do it a couple of times a week. And the dividends have really paid off. You know, sometimes you have all this stuff moving around and you don't really think it helped that much. But I can tell you, for my child, for a child who does not have a great memory, who was just having great difficulty learning how to spell, having gone through several different spelling programs, this is the one that has finally worked. So I wanted to walk you through that and just kind of show it to you. I hope this was helpful for you if you're thinking about, if you're evaluating all about spelling. And my son, you know, I didn't get it for my son, but I've actually kind of run him through it. Now with him, we can literally cover 2 or 3 sections a day, whereas with my daughter, I just do one at a time. And I try to combine anything that they're 17 months apart, but they're 2 years academically apart, because my son has a summer birthday and my daughter has a December birthday. But as much as I want to do as much as I can together, I can't do spelling together because she just needs to go a lot slower than he does. So I do use it on my other child, and it's helped him. His spelling was okay, but it actually has helped it to be even better. So hope that's helpful. Put notes in the comments if you have any questions, if you have used it, if you like it, if you don't like it, just so that other people who are evaluating can really get a good idea of what they're looking at. All right. See you next time.